Hello students and viewers. Today we are going to study floral whorls. So in this part we are going to learn each floral whorls in detail with their activation. What is the floral whorl? What are the individual members name and what are the group of that members, what is the name of it, and what are the different types of estivation they are forming, and what are the names, or we can say the types of estivations of them. So all these things we are going to learn in each of these floral whorls. Say in case of calyx, then corolla, then androecium, and then gynoecium. So each of the floral whorls will be studied in detail. So you have uh, to learn, or to you have to listen this lecture very carefully. So let's begin with it. So calyx. So here calyx is the outermost whorl of the flower formed by sepals. So we know that the individual member of this calyx, the name is sepal, right? So sepals aggregated together to form calyx, right? So what are the function of calyx? So everyone knows that calyx is green in color, right? So what would be the function of these calyx? So obviously in a few percentage I can say it's helps in photosynthesis, but the main function of the calyx, as it is present in a flower and as it is the outermost whorl of the flower, so it is going to protect the flower in a bud conditions. So that is the main function played by all the sepals present in a flower. Now, the nature of calyx, how it looks or where it is present, right? So let me take the pen. So here the part which is present in green in color, right? So all these are what? Sepals, right? Single one is sepal. So all these are, how many are here? Now see here, this is sepal number 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4 which is green in color, and this is 5. So how many sepals are there? There are total 5 sepals, right? And sepals grouped together to form which structure? They are going to form calyx, right? So calyx is the plural word. Formed by whom? Formed by all these sepals, right? Okay. So what is the main function of this calyx? Is to protect the flower. But in which condition? It is in this. You can see here in this image. This is the particularly bud, right? So to protect the flower in bud condition. That is the main function played by calyx, right? So here you can see this is the in case of function, but what is the main nature of the calyx? In case of rose, this is the flower of rose, right? This is rose. So here in this rose and in this white color flower, what you are observing in case of calyx? So here you can see all these sepals, they are free from one another. In case of rose, right? None of the calyx or none of the sepals, they are fused. Each and every these sepal, they are free from one another, and hence which condition is coming here? Poly condition. Always do remember this prefix poly. Okay, poly means free. Polysepalous condition. Why sepalous? Because we are talking about sepals, right? So here polysepalous. Poly means free. Sepalous is in case of sepals. So polysepalous condition in case of whom? In case of rose flower. In case of this white color dhatura flower, what we are saying here, all these sepals here, see, I will change now the color of my pen so that you will get it. So here this sepal number 1, this is sepal number 2, and this is sepal number 3. So what you are observing or what we are observing is all these sepals, they are fused. Okay, whatever the sepals here you are observing in case of rose, they are free. Okay, obviously here right from its base, this is the base portion, right, and this is the apex portion. So you are observing right from the base to apex, each sepal is free, right. So here only at the tip, okay, you can see here at the tip portion only they are free, but from where you have to observe, from the base, okay, from this portion you have to observe, right. So from the base, if you are looking from the base, see here, this is this parts, right. So from till 3/4 of the portion of the sepal is fused to one another, right. Means what, this condition will goes to fused condition. So for fused condition, which prefix we have to use is, we have to use gamo. Okay, always do remember these things. Poly means free and gamo means fused. So here gamo, again the same suffix, that is sepalus. I will not write here, I don't have the much space. Okay, please consider it. So it is gamosepalous condition in case of this datura flower, right. In case of rose it is polysepalous condition. So nature of the calyx is either it is poly or either it is gamo condition. These are the two conditions. Poly means free, gamo means fused. Next, so here you can see Polycephalus. I have even given the title of these things, poly and gamo. Now, next part is estivation. So what is this estivation is, right? So here estivation is an arrangement and overlapping of floral parts, either calyx, corolla or perianth. Okay, so it is arrangement and overlapping of floral parts. Either it is calyx, corolla or perianth. Okay, so estivation always seen in case of calyx, in case of corolla and in case of perianth. Now, what are the types of estivation? So see here, next my slide. So here you can see here types of estivation in case of which part we are observing, in case of calyx we are observing, right. So you have to look in case of these calyx, this is the green portion, these are the calyx, right, all these. So here in case of this calyx, what you are observing in case of solanum melongena, that is the botanical name of brinjal, and solanum lycopersicum, that is the botanical name of tomato, right. So what kind of estivation you are observing? Estivation nothing but what, how they are arranged or the overlapping pattern of each of this member of calyx. Okay, how they are arranged. So suppose we will give the numbers to these sepals. Sepal number 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. You can count the sepal in case of brinjal and in case of tomato. The same, how many are here sepals? 5, right? So here you can see all these 5 sepals, they are arranged in a one circle. Okay. So here this is the one end, right. This is the one end and this is the another end of that sepal number 1, means each of the sepal has two ends. Okay, this is and this one is, right. So here both the ends of each sepal, they are arranged in one circle. You can see here they are formed a circle. Okay, so if you are observing such a pattern of arrangement of calyx, then this type of estivation is called as what? Velvet type. Which type? Velvet type of estivation, right? So this type of estivation is found in Solanum melongena and Solanum lycopersicum. So this one is velvet estivation. Next, this thing. Okay, So here what we are observing, this is the flower of hibiscus. So what we are observing, again count, just count. Here we are observing petal, but same kind of estivation is present in case of sepals. Okay, right? So here you can count the 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Same kind of estivation would be there in case of these things, right? So here you can count these. So here also I have given the numbering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So here what you have to remember is, suppose the sepal number third, right? So here this part is outer and this end is in inner of whom, inner to second sepal, right? And second sepal ka this one is outer and again this one is inner. Means suppose to each of these sepal you can have the similar pattern, right? Sepal number 1, again see, the one end is in and another end is out. Okay, means each sepal has one end is overlapped by the uh, adjacent sepal, right? So out in, out in, out in. So likewise all the sepals they are present. So this type of estivation is called as what? Twisted estivation. Okay, you can see over here also. This end is inner and this end is outer. This end. Even you can see this end is inner and this end is outer, right? So likewise one end is in, one another end is out, right? So likewise in out of each sepal is arranged, hence this estivation is called as what? Twisted estivation. In twisting condition it is present. So example is Hibiscus rosa sinensis. So this is the botanical name for hibiscus flower. Next estivation. So here you can see in case of this imbricate estivation what we have to remember, right? So here the thing which is you have to remember is, now here is sepal number 1. This is sepal number 1, just concentrate on it, and sepal number 4, just concentrate on this, right? So when we are looking towards the sepal number 1, the both the ends of sepal number 1 they are in, what I'm talking, both the ends of sepal number 1 they are in, and here the sepal number 4 both the ends they are out. You can look, right? And rest of the three, that is sepal number 2, sepal number 3 and sepal number 5, they are in twisted condition. They are in which condition? They are in twisted condition. You can look over there, one end is in, one end is out, right? So here you can see this is in, this is out. Again this is, in case of second, this is in and another end this is out, right? So likewise the in and out, this condition is present in case of sepal number 2, 3 and 5. In case of sepal number 1 is both the ends they are in, and sepal number 4 both the ends they are out. So in case of imbricate, what you have to remember, the formula 1 1 I plus 1 O plus 3 T. 3T means what here? One sepal is totally in, that is 1I. Then one sepal is totally outside, that is 1O plus 3T means what? 3 is in twisted condition, right? So this is particular formula for this imbricate estivation. Please do remember these shortcuts to remember the types of estivation, right? So always this kind of patterns of arrangements of sepals are there in case of imbricate. 1I 1O plus 3T, right? Okay, so the example for this imbricate is Cleome hesleriana. So this is the example where this imbricate estivation is found. Next, again I have written over there in the black 1I plus 1O plus 3T. Next, Dianthus chinensis. Might have gone through this flower. So this is again next estivation, that is quincuncial estivation. Which estivation? Quincuncial. So this is same in case of uh, this is your imbricate. Means what you have to remember is just concentrate on again sepal number 2, sepal number 5, right? So if you look towards sepal number 2 and 5, just look the both the ends and compare with another sepals, means sepal number 1, 3 and 4, right? Even you can look at sepal number 5 and compare it with sepal number 1 and 4, right? So if you look at sepal number 2 and 5, both these sepals, they are completely out, they are completely out, right? Means both the ends, they are present outside, right? When you are looking towards sepal number 1 and sepal number 3, right? So here just look sepal number 1 and compare with 2 and 5. So what you are going to observe, both the ends, this is the end and this is the also end, both the ends, they are inside to whom? They are inside to sepal number 2 and 5, right? So hence we are going to write here I condition, means in case of 3 also I condition. And just look at the sepal number 4, what you are getting is one end is in, here it is in, right? And one end is out. So this condition is what? Out in condition means always twisted condition, right? So what the formula we are going to write over here is 2r in 2I, right, plus 2o, that are two sepals are out, plus 1t, right? So this is our formula, which is what similar in case of imbricate. Imbricate only one is 1I plus 1O plus 3T we have written in case of imbricate. In case of quincuncial here, 2 are in, 2 are out, and only one is twisted, right? So that is the formula for quincuncial type of estivation, and this estivation is found in Dianthus chinensis, these flowers. So again see here, which is written over here in case of black, 2I plus 2O plus 1T, right? Next, the next type of estivation is same. Here you can see this is the flower, white flower, this is the clitoria. The common name is Gokern in Marathi. This is the clitoria, Ternacia, white variety and purple variety, right? So this is the one which is the larger petal. This petal is written in case of this. So this is larger, is called as what? Standard. This is standard petal, right? Then these two, next two, this one and this one. So these are wings. These two, they are called as what? Wings. And this one is called as K-E-E-L, keel, right? So keel are fused. Okay, this is what? They are fused. And these wings and standard, they are separate, right? Hence this also comes under gamo condition, right? So here one is standard, two are wings and two are keel. So here this is somewhat different kind of estivation is there. So this kind of estivation is called as what? The vexillary estivation. this type of estivation is called as what? Vexillary estivation. So please do remember, vexillary estivation is always found in this clitoria flower, right? So this kind of flower uh, means corolla, it is coming under again papilionaceous corolla, right, where the butterfly like of petals they are present, getting, and where the conditions are same, one is standard, two are wings, and the two are kill, which is kills are fused, which are present inside to these wings. Okay, when you are going to open these wings, then you will get the keel. They are very again a narrower sepal structure which is present inside to these wings, right? So please do remember in vexillary estivation, and with examples are clitoria. Now, modifications of calyx. So, what are the modifications of calyx are there? Just have a look on it. So, the first modification is petaloid calyx, right? So, why the name is given petaloid? Because see here in case of Musanda roxburghi, right? So, in case of Musanda roxburghi, whatever you are observing this white portion, right? So, this white portion, these are not a petals. Okay, these are not petals. These are what? This white portion is nothing but what? This is the single sepal which is modified and which looks like a petal, right? And hence our prefix is petaloid. Calyx. It's actually what? Calyx. But it is modified into a larger structure and which looks similar like petal. So why this modification is happens in a nature in case of this musenda plant, right? Because see whatever the orange colored flower, these are actually flower of this particular musenda, right? But flower, if you are looking at the flower, these are very tiny flowers are present. Okay, insects has to visit to these flowers, right? And hence nature has modified its one of its floral whorl structure. Okay, so which floral whorl is modified here? Over here the calyx is modified and which looks like petal, and hence we called it as petaloid calyx. So please do remember petaloid calyx, it is present in Musanda roxburghi. So here all the sepals are attractive and they helps in pollination purpose. Next is pappus calyx. Okay, so here pappus calyx means what again? Right. So here the sepals become scaly or feathery. See, okay, actually, what is the structure of sepals are? These are the green leaf-like structure which is present, right? So this structure we called it as what? These are the sepals, right? But here in case of these triadax, right, these sepals they are modified into this structure. Look to your extreme right where I have circled this. Okay, can you imagine the same sepals which I draw over here? They looks like this. Okay, so why such a modifications are present in this, right? So each of this modification has story. Okay, it is not created just for time pass, getting. So each of these modifications has something natural reason for its modification. So in case of musandai previously, what we learned is one of the sepal looks like petal. Why? Because to attract the insect, because flower is very tiny. Now if you look at this flower, again this looks like similar like a sunflower, right? These are the ray florets and the flower which is present on the disc, they are called as disc floret, right? So very small flowers or the florets they are present. And yes, if you look at extreme to your right image, see here, this is particular seed. This is what? Seed of that disc floret. Are you getting? and this seed has to be dispersed from one place to another place. See, here what is the reason for modification of calyx is to disperse the seed from one place to another place. This calyx has modified. Okay, and as these calyx, all these sepals which looks like feather like. Okay, birds has their feathers, and with the help of feather, birds are flying on the sky, right? So here the same function played by these sepals, right? So with the help of these sepals, the seed is migrated, okay, from one place to another place. Now next, spurred calyx, right? So what is this meaning of this spurred? Okay, so here you can see I have written over here the one of the sepal is prolonged, okay, downward to form tubular structure known as spurred calyx. Okay, so here you can see this is the sepal number 1. We will give here 2, then backside again 3, 4, and this one which is prolonged downward to form tubular structure, right? Let me change the color so that you will get it. This tubular structure, right? So this tubular structure which you are observing, so that tubular structure is called as what? This is called as spur, right? So this is spur. Spur is nothing but the extension of one of the sepal in a downward direction to form a tube like structure. That is nothing but spur, right? And hence this type of calyx is called as what? Spurred calyx. And particularly here in case of impatiens balsamina, okay, during the Ganesh festival you might have seen these flowers are very popular during Gauri Pujan. It is been taken. It is been offered to Lord Ganesha, right? So these impatiens, this common name of this flower also called as Gauri, right? So these been offered to Lord Ganesha. So please do remember this impatiens balsamina, which has this spurred calyx. You can look at each of these flower. They has this spurred calyx, right? Next, so here I have completed all these calyx modification with its estivation, right? So if you have any kind of doubt, you can ask me directly. You can, instead of messaging me, it's better to call and ask me your doubts. So thank you very much, students, for listening this today's lecture of floral wool calyx. Thank you very much.